We're going. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back. This is what, midweek, hump day, midweek drop. I don't know. Again, this is the fourth time I'm saying this. We probably need to land on something, RJ, but here we are. Here we are.
We are. It's our super short print series of
See?
us.
See, these are the ideas. Short print. I like the short print thing, but anyway, lot
It's a
to talk
mouthful,
about.
though. Yeah,
But
it's a mouthful.
with a condensed time. First and foremost, we got to talk about the guest we just had. He'll be released this coming Monday. I probably should know the date, but I don't off the top of my June 30th. We've got Andre from Vintage Sports Card Club. This guy's pretty incredible. His affiliation and connections to the Yankees is just mind-blowing. Probably could have had the guy on for 4 or 5 hours. Incredible episode. Please jump in. And I'm just laughing because RJ might hear it for the first time on Monday. RJ,
Yes,
do you care to explain yourself?
So I am a huge Yankees fan, and I was very much looking forward to this conversation. And we got about 20 minutes in, and my son was having kind of, he's younger, so he was having kind of like a little bit of a meltdown.
Kid being
So
a
I'm
kid.
like, all right, yeah, being a kid. So I was just
Yep.
like, hey, Matt, I got to step out for a minute. I'll be right back. And like, no joke, went out, help my wife calm him down a little bit, like maybe 5 minutes. And then, so I come back, and I recently had actually put a automatic lock on my door. Like, you punch in the code,
the
and
office
it,
door.
releases it, because I've got a lot of cards and collectibles and stuff in here. And
young kids, you don't need them in there
exactly,
hanging out. Yeah,
exactly. So it's either just to close the door and have access to it when I need it, than, them coming out going, what's this? And then like, yeah. So,
hey, Daddy, this one-on-one judge, was that important to you?
yeah. Oh, yeah, this was an art card. I colored on it too.
I gave it to Billy.
Yeah. So yeah, I come back and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I didn't miss much of the show. I'm going to jump back in. I'm going to be able to converse and have some amazing stories. I hear some amazing stories. Punch in the code to my handle, and it beeps. And I'm like, sweet, turn the handle. And you can feel the latch. The handle is turning, but you can feel the mechanism on the inside, like just kind of scraping it. And I'm like, that feels a little off. So I do it again and again
Something's
and
not
again.
right.
And so I keep turning the handle, and the door is not opening. And then I start panicking, and I'm just like, of course this is happening now. It's that moment of like, what do you got to do to get back into your podcast?
Meanwhile, so you glazed over some things, so I'm going to go back.
Yes.
Yes, obviously, kids being kids. The beauty of this show is we tell even our guests, something comes up, we edit it. We try to, run through because we just want to have a conversation, but things happen, right? Somebody's, we might have a guest, his wife or her husband calls and says, hey, I need this. Obviously, that's the priority. You got a little kid out there, he needs a little something.
Yep.
You had to step out. Andre and I just stopped talking. We're like, all right, we'll be back in a minute. Had no idea the drama that was going on just feet away from your microphone.
Yeah. So I muted my microphone. So when
That's
I left,
true.
because I'm like, I don't want, like they're, he's crying and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't want that to be picked up, while I help console him a little bit. But at this point, I am like forcefully trying to get into my own office.
And if you're watching right now, well, you are watching right now. This is what was happening in the hallway. RJ has drills, he got goggles on.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it started
he
with
was in it.
I came back and I'm just like, so I tell my wife, I'm like, you got to text, Jen, which Matt's wife, my sister, and be like, and just let him know, like, I might not be back for the show. And I just kept thinking, like, I can't shut my computer down and so it's going to continuously run, and I'm going to have to like break in my window or break down my door or something. So, so I'm trying all these avenues to try to get it open, trying to slip, like I had some thicker plastic. I'm trying to slip it through like the door area, push the door open and like pop it open. That's not working. So yeah, it finally gets to a point where I go and I'm just like, you know what? I've watched enough, people opening storage spaces and stuff in my younger years, and like, oh, they're just like, oh, you just got to drill out the lock. TV. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I could totally do this. I got tools. Heck yeah. So I got out 4 tools. I got out a hammer, a tiny screwdriver, Phillips head, or flathead, and then my drill, and then just in case I got out my metal grinder, like
he was taking the door off the place if he had to.
Yep. So I start drilling in through the lock, and I get deep enough in that I finally take the the flathead screwdriver, the small one, and I just hammered it all the way through. And luckily, it went far enough through where it connected the handle enough, like that I was able to input the code, and it just turned into like a normal handle, and it you could feel it grip and open. And I no joke, as you'll see in the episode on Monday, I get in as they are finishing
Yeah.
the
So
rest of the
so
show. This took
so
47 minutes for me to do this. Like,
and I had no idea. So let's go. I mean, it's almost like one of those movies where you show one scene, what's happening, and meanwhile, this is
oh yeah,
so. Andre Aaron said, "All right, he's got to step out and do dad stuff. Totally cool." So I'm sitting there. We're just shooting the breeze, shooting the poop, and I'm like, "All right, well, it's East Coast, so we probably should just roll on." Clearly, something came up. RJ, he's not coming back right away. So I think we waited at what seven,
it's
8
like
minutes.
7 or 8 minutes. Yeah,
And it's getting late for Andre. He's got to get back to doing his thing, which I don't know if that guy sleeps though, man. He works hard. He's everywhere. So maybe he didn't need to sleep. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, let's just go on with it. But I felt horrible because this is a Yankee dude.
yeah.
You're a Yankee dude. So I felt
I'm on the other side of the door. Like, it's almost like a long lost lover on the other side, like misconnection. I'm just like, what are they talking about right now? I want to be part of this. This is, yeah. Oh man.
So Andre and I start talking again. Again, we're just kind of flowing. These guys telling me some incredible stories. RJ, you should listen to them. They're amazing.
I listened to them today, and I was like, man,
damn it.
Oh.
So yeah, and so we're kind of wrapping it up. On all right, thanks for coming in, and then RJ's empty seat suddenly he comes flashing in, a smile like it was Christmas morning. And I'm like, oh, hey. Andre kind of rolls with it, finishes the story he's telling, and then he immediately, hey, RJ, he's back.
Yep.
Anyway, you got to watch it. It was hysterical. And we're just going to kind of leave it all in there because kind of,
This is the behind the scenes, the beauty of trying to run a podcast from your house with a whole bunch of other things going on.
One thing we're never going to be is we're never going to BS our reality. We're growing something new. We've never done this before. We're having fun with it, and stuff happens.
Yeah, it was. I was so when it all happened, it was like that frustration point of like at one point I just like wanted to like shut down and cry because I'm like it's right on the other side of the door. But then like it got to a point where it just started getting so funny that like I'm like laughing. I'm like laughing down the hallway as I get various tools to try to come back to break into my own door.
Is it the horror movie laughter though? It's not really laughter. You're about ready to get sinister on some things. You come in with a sledgehammer and the bride's like, what are you doing?
Yep. So yeah, we've included the video. My wife was kind enough to take a couple short videos of me, whistling while I work essentially.
Yes.
And, the aftermath, which I now have a door handle that is broken, but the screwdriver is still jammed in it. So it is still functional. So I am using a screwdriver, what I essentially set up still I have, and I'm like, now I got to buy another, handle. I'm like, but at least I didn't have to like break the door, take the door down or break a window and come through the
it all worked out. And you know what? It's gold. And it's episode 20. We won't get into why that was important to us, but when we started this thing, we said, hey, episode 20, let's focus on that. And we got there with some hijinks. Actually, I don't know if that was hijinks. It was just chaos. But anyway, a lot of fun. Check it out. We can't wait for you guys to dive in. Let's get on to some other stuff because this is one of our shorts. So let's dive into it. Fanatics Fan Fest just finished up over the weekend. A lot of hype about that thing. We were not there, but we're looking at it, talking about going next year. We're definitely going to the National here in a couple weeks. So I've been doing some reading, RJ. I'm sure you did too. Record crowd, I think they had 125,000 people. And a lot of what I'm reading is kind of a comparison. I'm not really sure it's a fair comparison, but that's what I'm reading. So I'm going to go with it. Fanatics Fest was like a festival. It was, a lot of high energy, like Vegas style stuff, a lot of celebrities, a lot of shows, and then cards. Whereas they, when we talk about the National, it's cards, it's 600 plus tables. A lot of vintage stuff, a purist almost event, folks going there to add to their collection, sit down and go through those dollar boxes as we did, what was it, last year, 2 years ago. So just different experiences, but, and I look forward to going to both and, talking about them further. But yeah, Fanatics Fest looked like it was a blast. I know a couple of P1 Castle, Scott from P1 Castle was there. He did a lot of content. So definitely check out what he was doing up there. Looked like a blast. I mean, there's an F1 car. Say no more, right? I'm going. I need to go see the F1 cars. Anyway, they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in Chicago, RJ?
Well, Chicago is meeting some of the people that we've talked to on the show here. And progressing some of those relationships and just kind of getting a feel for the crowd and the energy. Right at the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's the energy. But back on FanFest, one thing that caught my attention was the display they had of the 101 patch auto cards. Right, so they had actually
Oh,
50
MLB
graded.
debut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, MLB debut. So they had 50 of them up that were graded. They didn't have any raw, so I don't know if they reached out to anybody that held raw cards, but if they just went graded. But they had them all on like a nice display, and you could kind of take a look. So that's that's kind of cool. On if you any event you go to this like that, like I remember even like when we went to the National the other time, like I think they had a couple Superman comics, like high end, like one of his
Oh, yeah,
first
yeah.
editions, like like so there's those things that you don't normally get to interact with, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
like if you took a look at that wall, you got to look at 50 cards that were all 1-to-1, massive hits for anybody.
Yeah.
And I do out of all the cards, they were either graded PSA or SGC. There was one Beckett, and it had the lowest grade out of all of them. And I think it was just an 8. Everything else had like a 9 or a 10. So I thought that was a little interesting that, Beckett's out here grading hard. It's like, nope, I don't care if you're a 1-to-1. We're looking at these edges.
We're getting
Yeah.
serious about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. They're doing that again this year, the MLB patches.
That's a good question. I think so.
Okay.
I know they're
well,
doing. I know the question was about because Topps Chrome just came out for pre-order, and I know the question was if they're going to continue the buyback program. And actually, on the box there's a QR code for details about it. So they are going to be doing that again for the 3rd year. So,
Okay. So the buyback is in full effect. And the reason I ask, and this is not a slight against the Yankees. I love the Yankees. There's only one team I don't like. We won't even mention their name, but I think it's cool. And did you see the kid who MLB debuted yesterday? The Reds, Yankees. I wish I remembered his name. Maybe I should insert it text overlay here, but struck out the side against the Yankees, and the third dude was Judge. I mean, what an incredible debut to strike out that monster lineup. Struck out all 3 batters for his MLB debut. So I was wondering, is that patch, his card because of that experience or that day?
So
is
I think
that going to be better value, or is it just his numbers through the year?
but
I was thinking about.
it still goes back to what points do you have to hit to even get a card, right? You can't just show up in a game or a series, right? It's kind of like you have to hit. That's my understanding. It's almost kind of like in tow with. I could be wrong on this. Like in tow with like them achieving the rookie status, right? So many games, so many at bats. And that's why a lot of people wait for update to come out, because like the rookies that get called up and then get to play for 2 or 3 months will then be in like the update series. So could be, I'm not too sure. As far as I know, while that was going on, I was trying to beat my door down and get in.
Well, I saw it today first. Secondly, I thought that they just sewed it. Like if they called me up today,
yeah,
and they sewed it on my uniform, I finished the game. They take
someone's
it off.
doing something with it, right? If it's not on the card side, then the team itself will probably, But at the same time, too, it could be like anyone that debuts, they could take it and hold it, and they could wait for like that rookie card to come out, right? Because if they don't, maybe if they don't hit the tier in the product this year, they could maybe hit it in the next year, and then they'll have that patch ready. I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to get to. It was it changes the way you watch the game too. At least as I was watching the highlight today, I was like, I'm looking at the guy's uniform, saying, "Where's the patch?" And then to what I just asked you, does the card value go up because he struck out the side? Third batter was Judge. Does that matter? It does to me. I mean, strike out the side of the Yankees. That's pretty incredible.
And you have to ask a question too of is it the type where are you only wearing the singular uniform, or are they having you put on 2 more that aren't necessarily game worn, player worn, right? So this is that whole question of, I'm guessing not. I'm guessing it's the only patch, right? That makes it the 101. But
yeah, it was interesting.
Yes.
So it just changes the way I look at it. I just started noticing, that okay, now I'm looking for those type of things, and um, it's interesting to me. So
Yeah.
if you have an answer for us, drop it in the comments, because we could use the tip. It's just like when you're breaking. Who's this guy? And somebody tells you, well, that's the Chase. So we're
Yeah.
reaching out to the community. So a couple more things, and then we're going to dive into. I think you've got some stuff to chat about. One of the things that I want to do is kind of, if as I find things I like, share it with people, like some different platforms that I'm watching right now. And I'm going to give a shout out to a podcast. These guys are doing some cool stuff. It's all one word on TikTok. Ain't, no apostrophe, Ain't Chit, CHIT podcast. These guys are really a lot of fun. They got a lot of knowledge, so check them out. So RJ, what do you got?
Well, the only thing I have left is, what's in RJ's PC, right?
Well, this is the favorite part, man. We need, hold on a second, because last week you did a drum roll.
I did.
Maybe you're still kind of wounded from last night's drilling, but there you go.
No, I don't know. There's many different drum beats.
But hold on, let me see if I could. So first we had Poley, the squirrel from the New York Yankees outfield. What year was that?
2005, I think.
5-ish, yeah. Last week you had actually a card I've never even seen before, the Fabric of Freddie Freeman, which probably hurt you a little bit.
It's my patch debut, MLB debut patch, right?
It was like carpet, but anyway. All right, so there we go. Drum roll.
So
noise.
Yes, rolling of the drums. Hands. Yeah. So this is actually coincide with having Andre on, because Andre is a huge Yankees fan and collector, and deals cards out of the stadium, like all that kind of stuff, right? So this is actually the only Babe Ruth card I own.
Oh, okay.
All right. But it's unfortunate that it's a Ted Williams card.
Check this out.
So this is a 1959 Fleer Ted Williams set. This is card number 2 that came from it. And it's labeled as Ted's Idol Babe Ruth. So, he, like what I said, was a huge fan of him. And so it's an 80 card set. So this is where, if you remember a couple years ago in like 2022, Top Stadium Club Chrome, that picture of Ted Williams coming out of the airplane, right, with his bomber jacket on and stuff.
Yep.
So that's kind of, they had one of those in this set, so it's kind of like a throwback to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so on average, these cards, like raw, like between $50 and $75, depending on quality. So that's the only Babe Ruth card I own, because I refuse to own reprints or anything like that.
Okay.
So
let me see that thing again, because the first thing I noticed, man, and I think in your head, well, other people probably know this, but for me, in your head, Babe Ruth is a giant, but you got Ted Williams towering over him there.
Yeah. I mean, you shrink when you get older, I hear. So,
all right, I'm waiting on that still, but okay. That's a pretty cool card. There's a Yankee theme to all 3 weeks right now. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. All right, then I already know next week. I'm gonna break it all up.
Well, don't. I'm not complaining. I'm just noticing it.
What's in RJ's PC? It's mostly Yankee items.
Of course it is. You're a Yankee guy. No, but hold on a second. You didn't even catch the dig there that your Freddie Freeman connection was.
No, I know.
The Grand Slam.
He murdered us in the World Series, And
the
only person to have like 5 consecutive games with a home run or something dumb. Which is crazy, because of the time before that, when the Yankees were in against the Phillies, man, Chase Utley murdered us. I think he had 4 home runs in that series. It was to a point where he was just it was almost like he would just hit the ball and it would go out of the park. And he's just like shrugging his shoulders like that.
Whatever. It's like Jordan when he hit the shot.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, right? All right. Last question before we land this plane. And if I say it again, jump through the screen. Because I just read it before you jumped on, like literally right before you read it, I finished the article. To grade or not grade, one of ones. What is your thought? You're on the spot.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for that dead air. Thank you for that. One of ones, it depends, because right now I have a 101 NWSL Pacific card out. That's Chrome. That's their version of Chrome. And that was a 101, and it's a midfielder for, I think, the Portland Thorns. I think Olivia, I'm slipping on her name right now, but so I'm having that one go off to grading, just because like that product is in its infancy.
Yeah.
So like to me, I'm trying to like seal stuff up. I don't know, their quality control on some of the stuff was kind of bad. You can see some scratches, so I'm not expecting a 10. It's just more for the fact of encapsulating it. And since
Sure,
my
yeah.
daughter plays soccer, that's probably going to be a definite hand me down at some point.
Right.
But for instance, a couple of my other 101s that I've had or have, I don't.
Okay.
So
I read the article and the guy made a compelling argument both
if
for
if I walked into it knowing, so it goes cards to me are two ways, right? It's one that you're like, man, I love this card, or this card really speaks to me. I'm going to hang on to this card. Like at that point, like I don't feel the need to grade it. But if I get something where I'm just like for instance, when we pulled that Ozzie Smith 101, that wouldn't probably stay in my PC, right? So I would probably use that to trade or cash in to get something else that I want. So in that aspect, I would probably grade it. But I've learned along the way that just, at this point, just grade the card. Like the extra money to grade the card and the signature, like to get a 10 and a 10, like, yeah, it's cool. But at the same time, like everyone knows the signature is authentic, right? So the only time it gets screwed up is if like they go off a sticker or if there's like a dot or whatever it might be. But really in the end, people are looking for the card to be pristine than the auto itself. So, you're taking a chance if you like, I've gotten a couple card grades where you get a 10 on the grade, but then like the auto's a 9 because they like didn't complete the loop on like their last name or something like that. And you're just but that's their signature right there. Like, how can it be dinged for something that's not,
Yes. How are you judging me on his signature? Yeah. No, I agree. For me, it would be the same. When I say the same, the protecting aspect of it. If it's going to stay in my PC and I've got a Lewis Hamilton 1/1, of course.
Yeah. So, and if I acquire a 101 and it's graded already, okay, cool, great. And that's actually, I will show you a 101 next week. So I'll show you a graded 101 next week.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right. Well, thanks everybody for jumping in. Little splash there for the midweek, and we'll see you next week. Listen in. Andre is on Mondays. Vintage Sports Cards Club. See you Monday.
All right. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Breaks. We appreciate you being here with us and helping us grow this community. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Make sure to like, follow, or subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.